I'm not proud of myself, but I am.
Dan, have you ever heard of Gary Heidnik?
No, I've heard of Buffalo Bill, obviously, but
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know that old Bill was based on or influenced by something real, if you get me.
He was actually influenced by 3 different people, which I will get at.
John Bon Jovi.
Next, he does look a lot like John Bon Jovi in that picture. Well, I will get more into that at the end of next episode. But yes, he was He was influenced, well, not in by the writer was influenced by 3 psychopaths that led him to create James Gum.
Speaking of psychopaths that like to wear other people's skin, did you see that the house from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is now a restaurant?
I did not.
Yeah, it's the house that the I can't remember the family's names. I know it changes a couple of times, but in the original house from the original film is now a restaurant.
It's got to be a themed restaurant.
I can't remember, but it's a very nice looking establishment, to be fair.
Or did they go in there and turn it into like a fucking Applebee's or something? I mean, it's got to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre themed restaurant. Otherwise, what the fuck?
Don't know.
Fuck it. Well,
I don't think I'd want to be ordering like a leather face omelet or anything.
Oh, I so would. I'd go in there and order the most disgusting sounding thing and just cross my fingers that it's not what it says. Fuck. All right, well, let's get into it, because I said we got a bunch of shit to cover, and I like to go deep diving into this stuff. So Gary Michael Heidnik was the firstborn son to Michael and Ellen Heidnik, November 2nd, 1943, in the Cleveland suburb of Eastlake, Ohio. Michael was a tool and die maker, and Ellen was a, quote, not unattractive woman of Creole descent. A beautician. About a year and a half later, Ellen gave birth to Gary's younger brother, Terry. Yes, they were Gary and Terry, which is just don't do that to your children.
These wasn't Terry and Jerry.
It's true. My parents, up until I was born, so I'm Kevin, but my 3 brothers that my mom and dad had before me are Brian, Brad, Brandon. And they decided to go with Kevin for the last one because my mom was sick and tired of going, Brad, you, that one. Whichever one.
The one with the brown hair.
Because then my brother turns around and he names his kids Madison, Mackenzie, Macy, and Marley. It's like, what is wrong with you, man? Break it up.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, they lived in a...
We know you're Kevin, by the way. You didn't need to tell us that you're Kevin. If you're listening to this, you know already that he is Kevin.
If you missed the beginning of the episode, my name is Kevin.
Somebody hits that thing on Spotify too many times.
It's just, I don't need to know what they're talking about. Just give me to his name.
I'm Kevin.
That's all I needed to know. Then they turn the episode off, and they're good. They lived in a middle-class home in a middle-class subdivision, and they were all miserable. Gary and Terry fought constantly with their dad for most of their lives until later on they would completely lose contact with him. Every time I say Gary and Terry, I want to say Terry and Sherry, like from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Sherry and Terry. They got along with their mother almost as well, and by the time Gary was 2, the couple had called it quits, and Ellen had moved out. In her divorce petition, Ellen accused Michael of, quote, gross neglect of duty, and Michael claimed Ellen was a wild woman and a boozer. So, because I said duty.
Yeah. Gross neglect of duty.
The boys
Severe
went
lack
to
of
live.
pooping.
He never shits.
Yeah.
I want a divorce because this man never shits. Again, low-hanging fruit, people. We go for it every time. The boys went to live with Ellen and her multiple husbands. She got married a few times until Gary started school. Then they moved back in with Michael, and a new stepmother that they got along with almost as well as they did with their father. Both boys would say that Michael was a ferocious disciplinarian. When Gary wet his bed, his father would make him hang the soiled sheets out his second-story bedroom window for the world to see. Gary also claimed that when Michael was really angry, he would also hang Gary out of the window, by the second-story bedroom window, by his ankles for the world to see.
That's where I'm going wrong. My parenting.
I've tried. My wife refuses to let me.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you doing to my children?
I got some good strong rope. I got some duct tape. I got a window. And I got a child.
He's 18. You can't do that. I disagree, but okay. I can. I won't, because you won't let me, but I can. I have the ability. I don't have the permission.
Shut up, Sooty.
No.
Stupid cat.
Once, Michael even painted bullseyes on the asses of their pants before sending them off to school, which is just kind of funny, honestly. I mean, if you're, I guess it depends on the type of school you go to, of who's going to take advantage of that.
That's like taking the whole kick me thing to an extreme.
Yeah. Michael claims none of this happened and they grew up in an average household. He's like, they're full of shit. Of course, they both said the same things about Michael, so it's his word against theirs and Ellen's. That kitten. Dan's got
he hasn't seen me all day, as usual.
Oh, yeah. If Dan was ever to get keel hauled as a pirate, he'd have a cat on his shoulder instead of a parrot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garr.
Troubles for Gary didn't end at the home, however. According to Terry, Gary was picked on fairly routinely at school because of his, quote, football head.
Hey, Arnold. Yeah.
Hence the Hey Arnold background. I think next week I'll have Stewie from Family Guy. It was the result of falling out of a tree at an early age on the crown of his head. Terry also claimed that after this fall, Gary's personality changed. Now, this is something that we see in sociopaths and psychopaths, people with mental instability and people who go on to, do horrible things to others, wetting the bed and head injury early in life.
I just had a mental image of football head, but it's the other way. So it's long.
So the face.
The face.
So it's like Phineas from Phineas from Phineas and Ferb. It's the other way. What if it's a football head, but it's up and down?
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Or like sideways, or diagonally. Now it should be stated that. It should be stated that Terry also had mental instability later on in life. He attempted suicide a few times. It was hospitalized in mental hospitals himself. So it also could have been genetic. It could have just ran in the family. Now, other than this, the boys did have an average childhood. They did average boy stuff, other than getting beaten all the time and made fun of and all that shit. It's pretty average. Boy Scouts, summer jobs, dating girls. But what Gary was really interested in was business and joining the military. So by 9th grade, Michael scraped up enough money to send Gary to Staunton Military Academy in Virginia. He stayed for 2 years, where he scored exceptionally fine marks and had no disciplinary problems. This was also the time where he first saw a shrink. Now, we don't really know why. The only information given was that he wasn't given any medication. But he starts seeing a therapist at a fairly early age, about 9th grade.
Hey,
at the
end, I'll do that.
Yeah, and that's fine. I've seen a counselor. I've never went to therapy, but I saw a counselor for a little while. I think if you need to see a therapist,
I do see one. So there you go.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Every couple of weeks. Yeah,
perfectly fine. Do it.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody. You can't be judgmental. At the end, but see, and again, It's the Midwestern in me. They'd be like, "So what's going on?" I'd be like, "Nothing. I'm all right." No, but tell me about what's how you're feeling. Yeah,
Good.
I'm fine. How are you? Tell me about yourself. What's going on with you? Well, when would you like to reschedule? Oh, whenever you got a chance, whenever you have free time, I'm fine. I can come in.
Feels like I walk around Costco right now with all these questions.
That's how I would be. Tell me what's wrong. I don't want to bug you. How much do I owe you? Okay. Now, at the end of his junior year, he decided to drop out and move back to Ohio.